The multiverse just fractured wide open, and the one face we never expected to see has finally been revealed under the cold iron mask of Victor Von Doom in the fourth Avengers Doomsday trailer. This is not a drill, and this is not just a variant theory anymore, because Marvel Studios has officially crossed the point of no return with a reveal that changes everything we ever knew. The fourth teaser for Avengers Doomsday has finally leaked, and the footage is more terrifying than anything we saw with Thanos because it strikes a personal chord. That will leave every Marvel fan absolutely devastated. Welcome back to Hollywood Talks, where we are breaking down the absolute insanity of this latest footage, which finally gives us the moment of the unmasking that has been kept under wraps for months. Before we dive into the dark details of Doctor Doom's origin and the secret connection to Tony Stark, make sure you hit that like button and share this video with every Marvel fan you know. Don't forget to subscribe to Hollywood Talks and turn on all notifications because we are your #1 source for every major leak. Leading up to the massive theatrical release of Avengers Doomsday in 2026, the trailer starts with a haunting silence as we see the remains of the Avengers compound from a distance, but the sky above it isn't blue because it is filled with swirling multiversal energy. We hear a familiar voice, but the tone is cold and calculated as Shuri stands in the middle of a destroyed Wakanda speaking about the duty of a king to protect his people from the end. The footage shifts rapidly to Namor standing in a desert which used to be his ocean kingdom, and we see the sheer desperation in his eyes as he realizes the world is truly dying now. This trailer confirms that the Fantastic Four have officially arrived on Earth 616, but they aren't coming as heroes because they are fleeing a reality that has already been completely erased by a single man. That man is Victor Von Doom, and the fourth trailer finally gives us a close-up look at his new armor, which looks like a twisted fusion of medieval sorcery and advanced Stark-level nanotechnology. The most shocking part of the footage occurs during a confrontation between Reed Richards and the hooded villain, where the tension is so thick you can practically feel the history between these two genius rivals. Reed looks at Doom with a mixture of horror and recognition as he asks the question we have all been thinking since Robert Downey Jr. was first announced as the face of the new villain. Doom doesn't answer with words at first, but instead reaches up with a metal gauntlet to unlatch the seals on his silver mask, which makes a mechanical hissing sound that echoes through the silence. As the mask pulls away, the camera lingers on the back of his head before slowly panning around to reveal a face that is hauntingly identical to the hero who sacrificed himself in Endgame. This isn't just a variant of Tony Stark, who went bad because the scars on his face tell a story of a man who has endured centuries of pain and mastery over the dark arts. The trailer reveals that this version of Victor Von Doom believes he is the rightful successor to the Stark legacy, and he views the current Avengers as failures who let the multiverse rot away. We see a montage of the new Avengers team, including Captain America and Thor, looking in absolute shock as they see the face of their fallen mentor returning as their greatest and deadliest enemy. The breakdown of the trailer shows that Doom has already captured several key heroes and is using a device that looks suspiciously like a modified version of the Time platform to rewrite entire timelines. One of the most mind-blowing frames shows a de-aged Victor Von Doom standing next to a young Reed Richards in what looks like a flashback to a world where Tony Stark never actually existed. The theory here is that in this specific universe, the baby who should have been Tony Stark was instead born in Latveria and raised with a name that would eventually strike fear into every soul. This explains why the mask looks like a primitive version of the Mark I helmet, but infused with magical runes that allow Doom to manipulate reality itself without the need for the Infinity Stones. The action picks up as we see the X-Men entering the fray with Cyclops and Storm leading a desperate charge against a legion of Doombots that have the ability to mimic superhero powers instantly. It becomes clear that Avengers Doomsday is not just a sequel, but a total reset of the Marvel Cinematic Universe where the lines between hero and villain are blurred by the weight of destiny. The trailer ends with a chilling line from Doom as he looks directly into the camera and tells the audience that the age of heroes is over and the era of perfection has finally begun. This unmasking confirms that Robert Downey Jr. is playing a character that is both familiar and entirely alien, which creates a psychological horror element that the MCU has never truly explored until this moment. The stakes have never been higher because if the Avengers lose this battle, there won't be a universe left to save and the timeline will be permanently molded in the image of Doctor Doom. We also see a brief glimpse of Franklin Richards, whose reality warping powers seem to be the key to Doom's plan to merge all remaining universes into a single world under his absolute and total rule. This matches the Secret Wars storyline from the comics, but with a massive twist that puts the face of the MCU's greatest hero on the body of its most complex and dangerous cinematic villain. The visual effects in this fourth trailer are top tier, and the color palette is much darker than anything we saw in the previous teasers, which suggests a very grim tone for the entire movie. Fans are already dissecting every frame of the unmasking scene to see if there are any hidden clues about whether this Doom is actually the Tony Stark we know from another timeline or not. The prevailing theory is that he is a man who was burdened with the same genius as Stark, but lacked the heart and the team that kept our Iron Man on the path of righteousness. Without the Avengers to guide him, this version of the character turned his intellect toward the conquest of space and time, which eventually led him to the throne of the Kingdom of Latveria. Seeing the reaction of Peter Parker in the trailer is particularly heartbreaking because you can see the soul-crushing realization that the man he loved as a father is now the one destroying everything. The fourth trailer for Avengers Doomsday has set the internet on fire, and it is clear that Marvel is going all in on the emotional impact of having Downey Jr. return in this specific role. If you enjoyed this breakdown of the leaked trailer and the unmasking of Doctor Doom, make sure to like the video and share it across all your social media platforms right now for more. Subscribe to Hollywood Talks for daily updates on everything Marvel because we are tracking every single development for Avengers Doomsday and the future of the multiverse saga as we get closer to 2026.